We're going to do some yin to help release, and a meditation that is going to a pranayama meditation that's going to help us balance our nervous system. So the energy update that I got was with planets going retrograde or they're either in retrograde or they're about to go retrograde. So we're in retrograde season. We are always asked to slow down and trust in higher forces. When we reincarnate, when we come into Earth, we come with a veil. And part of our experience with having that veil is to ask questions. And we should be asking a lot of questions everywhere, right? Like whatever information you get from teachers, from those you agree with, from those you don't agree with, from me, from loved ones, you should always be asking lots of questions to figure out what resonates with you. What's your truth? And remember, when something is true for you, there's not much of a reaction. When our higher self is speaking, coming through, letting us know, hey, that's your, and it's okay to let your truth change. So one of the questions that was asked was, how rigid are you in your truth? Can you experience truth and allow it to kind of move and shift? And I've experienced this week, which is really cool, in that my schedule is changing, right? And so there's a part of me that wants to resist that change because I really like the rituals, the timing, the things that I've been doing for the last several months. I'm really attached to it. And so what I'm being asked to do, and I think what we're all being asked to do, is as things shift and as things change, can we give up the resistance? Can we just flow with it? And then once we allow it to flow, the experience tends to be better. Before I was taking a big chunk of time, and now maybe the timing isn't as big because I'm tired and I want to go to bed by 9 o'clock. But it's still, it's just as fruitful. There's just, and the fact that I'm not resisting is making it kind of flow even better. So part of the download that came through was ask the questions, question everything, ask all the questions, and be okay that you're not going to get an answer for everything. And be okay that what your truth is now around one thing also can change and be different, right? So my truth before was Saturday mornings were my jam, and that's right, like that's what I look forward to. There's no other day like a Saturday morning. Oh, I'm allowing that to change, and now that's a Sunday night. The energy, I pulled a card. The card that I came up with was to work with shaman energy this week, and that is trusting your angels, trusting in your guides and your ancestors. We tend to get really focused in the physical world. We get really like here and the now, which not a terrible thing, but we forget sometimes that there are so many other energies that are working with us and that are assisting us. This can be in the cosmos, this can be in angels, this can be in your past loved ones that are constantly like, I'm right here, but you're like, I'm so focused on like this stressor in my life that I'm not allowing myself to connect with these other entities, or just trust that they're there supporting me. Sometimes we get into our heads like, I'm so alone, I'm doing this by myself, I'm not getting the help, the guidance, the whatever. And it's there. Part of that free will, part of that veil is to ask for it. And asking for help is super uncomfortable for us. And that also should shift. So if you have given your power away, claim it back. Work with the solar plexus. Solar plexus and third eye, we are going to work very, very intensely with this week. The solar plexus, remember, it's our third chakra. It is yellow and it's around the navel. I always tend to feel mine a little bit above my navel. And it's the expression of our will. It's our personal power. It's our mental abilities. And I love that this download came up because on Thursday we have the new moon in Gemini. And so, right, Gemini is the head, it's the mental, it's our intellect, it's a very intellectual sign, it's a very communicative sign. When imbalanced, it's overly communicative. So I'm loving that this is kind of all tying in together really nicely for Gemini is I think, right? And so we want to work a lot with the third eye. This is where, so our solar plexus, this is where we assert ourselves in the world. So one of the questions that came up was, where are you being assertive in the world? And where are you maybe not being assertive? Where are you maybe backing down? And not that there's anything wrong with that. Remember, we always have three choices. We can either go this way, we can go that way, or we can observe. We could just kind of hang back and see what everybody else is doing on the field. A good mantra to use this week is I radiate my power in the world. I radiate my power in the world. If you want to write that down and put it somewhere on your bathroom mirror or on your fridge or on your cell phone, somewhere where you can see it, those words every single day, multiple times a day. I radiate my power in the world. The element of the solar plexus is fire, and we're seeing a lot of heat. We're feeling a lot of heat, like outside, it's very hot, but we're also seeing a lot of heat in the collective. So a great stone to work with, or a crystal, my favorite, but for the solar plexus, is tiger's eye. You can keep a piece of tiger's eye on you. A little money trick to do is to put a piece of tiger's eye either in your wallet or on your checkbook. This helps to kind of draw in the finances, draw in money to, and money, because money is power, remember? And how do you assert your power? So where do I assert my power? The solar plexus has to do with taking responsibility for one's life. It's very easy for us to blame everybody else, every other situation, to blame our friends, our family, politicians, rules, law, right? Like we do this, we point. And remember, we got 3 fingers pointing back at us. So where can I take responsibility for my own life and taking control? We may experience the extreme of this in that we fear we have no control. And remember, that's when we tap into that shaman energy of trusting in the otherworldly energies and entities, angels, guides, loved ones, all of that stuff. Fear that we have no control and that someone is pulling the wool over our eyes. That's an imbalance in the solar plexus. Remember, on a soul level, we agree to all experiences that we have. We incarnated to be here at this time to experience everything that we're experiencing, the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. And remember, what triggers you, the person, the people, the situation, that is your greatest teacher. Maybe work with that. Where are you super triggered this week, and how can it be your teacher? As I was kind of looking through I was watering my garden, and I was thinking about this class and this week and all of the energies and the stuff that I'm just kind of tapping into. And I was asking, how can I be of service? How can I shed light? Because we're seeing so much projection of fear, and that comes out in irrational anger, that comes out in blaming, that comes out, it comes out in all of these things. It also comes in as kind of like the I told you so, the I told you so energy. Or like, it's my truth is my truth and nobody else's is correct, right? I want you to see things my way and only my way. And so I was tapping into, okay, how can I, what can I do? How can I be of service? How can I help during this time? Who can I help? I always set that intention that whoever I'm meant to help will come to me, or I will find them, and vice versa. So anybody that I'm not meant to help, they find their own assistance elsewhere. And so as I was walking, I walked in my path was this bird's nest, and the download, the message that I got was mothering, nurturing. So to nurture, when we see someone that is rooted in fear, and we can take the bully, right? There's an office bully, there's a school bully, there's a friend bully, there's a parent bully. You take the bully, somebody that is very critical, maybe they're physically abusive, whatever it is, they push you around, you know, physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever. And and that bully, can we view the bully through the eyes of compassion, that this person might just need a lot of love? Can we, and remember, that is not, we're shifting into that. For a very long time, if there was someone with a behavioral issue or a bullying tendency or whatever, it was like, shut them out, get them away, right? Like, put them on medication, put them here, you know, that's not how you behave. But we're breaking out of that mold where, like, we can't put people in boxes. And just like with kids that lash out the most need love. They're just looking for that attention. We all agree to these experiences. And so that was the message, you know, nurture. Every time somebody comes at you with fear, or that you view it on the collective, or you view it, you know, scrolling social media, or you see anger interactions or whatever, even you can either actually say, you know, I love you, I feel for you, I have compassion, I hope things get better, or whatever. Or you can do Tonglen. You can take in that person's fear, take in the fear of all people, and put out love, put out peace, you know, put out whatever. So take your feelings of powerlessness, your fear, and use it as a teacher. Remember, on the other side of our fears is desire. So it's not that you're not supposed to feel fear. Fear gives you a lot of information. So yeah, we can view it outside of us, but also within us. What are your fears? And can you push through them to your desires? So if I fear being broke, my desire is to, you know, be comfortable, to have money, to be able to pay my bills, to, you know, buy stuff for my kids or whatever. If my fear is sickness, my desire is health. So take your fears, push through, and to find to your desires. The other question that came up was, where do I have self-discipline? Where am I self-disciplined? And it could be, crap, I'm not. Maybe I need to conjure up some self-discipline somewhere. The solar plexus, this is our masculine energy. That's how I always take it. The sacral is the feminine. The solar plexus is the masculine. And it also rules the digestion. So notice how your digestion is doing. The solar plexus is also closely related to the digestion. But remember, and I love how this worked out, the mind-gut connection. So your gut is your second brain, and you use your intuition when you get a gut feeling about something. So we really want to be working with the third eye in the solar plexus. So say you are somebody that's feeling very passionate right now. You got that fire in your belly, right? And some, it's okay. If say there's some group of people that feel very passionate about something and you're like, I don't feel it, right? That's fine. Some people, it's not your thing. But if there is something that you're feeling really, really passionate about, it's really giving you that fire in your belly, how can you transmute it? How can you make the best use of that energy? Remember, chaos motivates the soul. So if you're feeling something, don't try to put out the flame. Don't try to smother it. But how can you use it to transmute, to create, to heal, to spread peace, love, all of that stuff? How can you use that fire and transform? The shamans believed that when there was illness or disease in the body, that it was because a person's power had been left behind somewhere. And so shamans would do journeying. They would drum journey or whatever, and they would go to the underworld. They would, you know, deal with whatever that was, whatever was left behind, collect it, heal it, whatever, and move on. Is any dis-ease or illness, and that can be in the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual body, somewhere a negative pattern has possibly instilled itself. And remember, this can be something that we've carried over, you know, from lifetimes ago, or it's something that's not even ours. So we are being advised that to do a lot of releasing, and you don't have to know the specifics. If you want to do a past life regression, great, you totally can. But just knowing that, oh, there's this thing that's coming up, and pinpoint it as much as you can. And maybe it's just, I have a fear of driving and I don't know what it is. And then do some release work around that. We are being advised to do this release work with the lower energies. And the avenue of this is with our lack of trust. So where are we lacking trust? And notice the times that you get triggered or there's fear that comes up. And where can you say, okay, what am I not trusting? Am I not trusting outside sources? Am I not trusting myself? Where am I, right? And then remind yourself that there's you've got like a whole squad of energies that are just waiting to support you. They're trying to support you. You just maybe switch from this, I feel like I don't have trust, to working with your guides, working through meditation, working through journeying, drumming, whatever. So working with your lack of trust in the spiritual energies that are guiding you, where is your faith at this time? Remember, it's easy to forget that there are so many other energies helping us at this time. So restore your faith in divine guidance. Miracles unfold when we are in a state of trust. It's like the law of attraction. There's miracles around us every single day. The fact that I'm asking a question about how can I best serve, and there's all this distorted masculine, and then you could see it as a miracle that this little bird's nest was right in my and what is the bird, right? What's the nest? It's home, it's safe, it's where the bird nurtures the egg. So there's that, like, you can have these big amazing miracles of health or whatever, but there's miracles if we choose to call them in all day. They're always there. So call back your power and restore your faith. If you take anything from tonight, it is that. Call back your power and restore your faith. Stop allowing external forces to divert you away from miracles happening. Practice surrendering poses. So we're going to do a lot of yin tonight. Remember, when something is your truth, you do not get supercharged. You do not get super angry. You do not get super pumped. You feel pretty neutral. So this affects our reasoning, the logical mind, our ability to tell fact from fiction. We see people struggling a lot right now to figure out fact from fiction. Remember, you can pick a side, you can go right, left, or you can observe. You can just observe. So practice patience and forgiveness. We are also being encouraged at this time. So remember, the positive of this is to find new answers and new solutions. So the same old problems are coming up either on a personal level or out in the collective, and they're going to keep coming up until we find new innovative solutions, answers, all of that. Remember that third choice of just observing. One of my favorite things to do whenever I'm working with a dilemma or I'm not really sure how I feel about this, is I come into a meditation and then I go with each chakra and I see what's coming up for me within each chakra around that. Let's practice some actual release yoga poses and a little bit of breath work to help us work that nervous system into surrender. So first, go ahead and sit with a nice tall spine. Plant those hands right into the knees. Shut down the eyes. Allow that tailbone to root down into the earth. The crown of the head reaches, lifting up towards the ceiling. Draw those shoulders back and down. Lift with your heart. Tuck your chin slightly. Lock the back of the neck. Drop those shoulders away from your ears. Soften your jaw. Smooth out your forehead. And do a little internal inventory. So notice your physical body. Starting at the feet, the ankles, shins and the calves, the knees, tops of the thighs, hamstrings, hips, the belly, the spine, the shoulders, traveling down to the elbows, down the arms to the elbows. all the way down to our wrists and our fingertips. Make sure there's no tension in the fingertips. Check in with the throat, the back of the neck, jaw, the ears, the third eye, the eyeballs, the forehead, and the crown of the head. Calling all pieces of yourself from the past and the future, anywhere that you've given your power away, call that energy back to this now moment. And maybe you can even visualize this energy returning to you through your solar plexus. Notice what it feels like to be supported by the earth below you. Observing any sensations against exposed skin. So maybe the temperature of the air, wherever there is exposed skin. Observe your clothing and how it fits against your body. This beautiful vehicle that's driving you through this human experience in this lifetime. This beautiful body that we too will shed, but our soul, who we are, our makeup, lives on. I mean, that we are cyclic beings and that there really is no end. Once we come to an end, that is the start of the beginning. So it's darkest right before the dawn. And then shift that awareness inward. Notice how you're feeling mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in this moment without any judgment. Whatever you're experiencing is perfect. Whatever emotions, and remember, your emotions do not define you, they give you information to help you. So we don't need them to go away. We don't need to label them good or bad. They're just bringing us information. Sit nice and tall. And then shift that awareness to your breath. And notice how the air is moving in and out of your body at this time. And then to work with the breath and balancing the nervous system, keep those eyes closed, sit nice and tall. And we're going to inhale in 5 parts, hold the breath up at the top, and then release using that ujjayi breath, that ujjayi breathing. It sounds like Darth Vader, where we pinch off the vocal cords. So it sounds and looks like 5 sniffs on the inhale, hold, and then exhale, use that ujjayi breathing. And push all that breath out of the body. When you think you've pushed it all out, push a little bit more and then start back in. So we sniff the air up 5 times, hold, exhale, ujjayi. And feel that navel pumping with each sniff, each inhale. And maybe your inhale is at a 2 or a 3 or a 4. So wherever it is perfect. Holding up the top and then exhaling through that ujjayi breath. Soft jaw, smooth forehead, sit nice and tall, draw those shoulders back, lift with the heart. With the eyes closed, turn that gaze up to the third eye, that space between your eyebrows. Good. One more. And after that final release, push all the breath out of your body. Bring the navel right to the spine. Suspend the breath. Take a nice long, deep inhale through the nose. Fill up your lungs. Squeeze everything from your root chakra like you're stopping the flow of urination. Squeeze. Allow that energy to rise up from the base of the spine to the crown. Keep holding. Keep squeezing. Exhale through the mouth like you're blowing out candles. Inhale sharply and deeply through the nose. Hold, lift, and squeeze. Soften those shoulders. Exhale to release. Last one. Inhale sharply, deeply, and completely. Lifting, holding, squeezing. Exhale, let it all out. Eyes stay closed. Resume your normal breathing. Just observe the breath. Notice any sensations in the third eye, in the forehead. If there's nothing, observe the nothingness. Good, and gently floating the eyes open. Go ahead and make your way into child's pose. So the knees can be together or apart, whatever feels good for you. Sink those hips back. Allow your third eye to make contact with something. So you may need to stack your fists or bring the earth to you through a book or a prop. And as you hold this pose, really allow yourself to surrender to any areas where you may not have trust right now, trust in yourself, trust in others, and just surrender to it. Don't try to resolve it. Don't try to find answers for it. Just surrender to the experience. Take nice, long, deep inhales and exhales.
Each exhale, notice where you can create space. Where can you surrender? Where can you soften? Maybe it's in the shoulders, maybe it's in the hips, the arms, the fingers, the jaw. Really allow yourself to release. And when your mind wanders, and it will, just gently call it back to this moment. And go ahead and slide those hands right underneath the shoulders. Very slowly push the earth away from you, coming up. And we're going to make our way into a wide-legged forward fold. So send those legs up to the sides. If you're working with a low back injury or anything, you can always sit, fold up a blanket and sit there. So first, sit nice and tall, open up that chest, walk those fingertips out in front of you until you can fold forward. Keep those toes pointing up towards the ceiling. Drop the chin to the chest, round the shoulders in, and notice where you can release. And what this brings up, we store so much emotional trauma in our hips. So this can be like 4-letter words flying all over the place, right? It's good. It's all good. So make sure those toes stay pointing up towards the ceiling. And with each exhale, just notice, where can I release? Maybe it's in the thighs, maybe it's in the muscles around the femur or the hips or the pelvis. Maybe it's the back of the neck. Maybe it's the jaw. And when you feel like you can surrender deeper into the pose, bring your chest closer to the earth or send those legs further apart, do that. Remember, the longer we hold the pose, and we're here for a few minutes, we're smoothing out that fascia, that casing that the muscles sit in. So we are inviting a lot of release, a lot of emotional release. So allow whatever to come that comes up, allow it to come up. And as you surrender and release deeper into the pose. It's just like life, right? So we surrender, we come to the edge of our resistance, and we're able to fold a little bit deeper into the pose. And then there's this whole other slew of tension or tightness or whatever that comes up. So just sit with it. Just allow it to be there without wanting it to be any different, and knowing that it will pass when it's meant to. Take the last few moments here, really invite that release in, really surrender as much as you can. Make sure that breath is smooth and steady. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and slowly start to walk those hands up. Take a bend in those knees. Bring those hands behind you. Drop the knees from side to side nice and slowly. Bring a little bit of movement there. Good. And then we're going to make our way onto our bellies. So we're coming into Sphinx pose. The elbows are right below the shoulders. The fingertips are spread nice and wide. The big toes touch. And we pull those shoulders back. Maybe tuck the chin just a little bit. And if this is easy peasy lemon squeezy for you, you can go ahead and extend the arms to come into a full hello back bend. Just keep those glutes releasing. Keep breathing. No tension in the jaw. Breathe into that low back. Soften those glutes. Stay with that long, deep breathing. And it's amazing how, especially for me in this pose, I'll release something. I'll release my glutes. And then all of a sudden, I'm tightening it up again. So keep that release. Keep releasing, keep releasing. Those old patterns always try to creep on back in. There's no tension in the jaw. Keep that chest lifting. Keep those shoulders pulled back. Keep those elbows nice and firmly planted into your mat if the hands are down. If not, those fingertips are planted. And then go ahead and very, very, very slowly and mindfully push your way back to a child's pose to get a nice release. Take your time getting there. The arms have been extended out. If they've been extended out, so you might want to bring them back to hold the soles of the feet or just rest them down along the sides, palms face up. Welcoming in that release. And then go ahead and plant those hands right underneath the shoulders. Slowly push the earth away from you and make your way back to seated. Good. And we're going to extend out the left leg and take your two peace fingers. And if you can reach for the toe, great. Otherwise, you can reach for the ankle, the knee, the wherever the hand lands. And then you're going to inhale that right arm up. And then as you exhale, take a nice little side bend. Let those fingertips fall down towards the earth. Gaze up past the elbow. Shoulders stay nice and stacked. There's no tension in the jaw. Breathe into those right ribs. Inhale, come back to center. Release the hands, switch the feet. Take those peace fingers, reach for those right toes or the ankle, again, wherever the hand falls. Left arm, inhale to come up. And then as you exhale, take that nice side bend. Gaze up past the elbow if that's okay with your neck. Breathing into those left ribs. And inhale, coming back to center. Release the hands. Bring those legs into center, and we're going to come into a quick seated twist. So as always, you can bring that opposite hand to the opposite knee, swing the other arm around. So it would be the right arm, left hand to the right knee. Another variation that you could try would be to take that, sit into half a lotus. So I think it would be easier for you to see on the other side, but when I do this the other way, you can do it. And so we're going to reach around and reach for that foot, and hold on to it. So it just deepens the twist just a little bit. Gaze over that shoulder. If that doesn't work for you, then just keep that hand planted right behind. Gaze over that right shoulder. Chin is slightly lifted. Long, deep breathing. Shoulders draw down away from the ears. If you want to deepen the twist, just by bringing the back of the hand to the knee, notice how that might change things for you. Just such a subtle movement. Good. Go ahead and unwind out of that. Switch to stack that left foot into that half lotus position. Take the right hand to the opposite knee. And then again, you can just tent those fingertips right behind you, get a little bit of a lift, or reach for those toes. Gaze over that shoulder. Long, deep breathing. And again, maybe bringing the back of the hand to the knee and just see if that changes anything for you. Go ahead and unwind out of that. Big shoulder shrug. Make your way onto your backs for a quick Shavasana, a quick release. Take whatever organic movement feels good. Maybe a bend in the knees, rocking from side to side. Maybe you add in some more twists here, whatever feels good for you. Prepare yourself for that Shavasana, that rest. The legs come out a little bit further than hip distance. Arms come out to the sides. Float the eyes closed. Soften the jaw. Maybe even part the lips slightly. Give yourself that permission that you have nothing to do and no place to be for the next few moments, but just rest. Start to deepen your breathing. Bring some movement to the fingers, the toes. Gently rock the head from the side to side. Maybe bring the knees into your chest and give them a squeeze, rocking from side to side, massaging out the low back. And then when you feel ready, and only when you feel ready, make your way into the fetal position on the right side. And as always, we go from our corpse pose, which is the death of our practice, the death of what we let go of and no longer serves us. And we come into the fetal position as a symbol of a rebirth of ourselves. And taking a moment to set an intention that you can carry with you into your evening and into your week. And the intention of trust, faith, release, and surrender. And perhaps stating that affirmation for the week: I radiate my power in the world.
And then when you feel ready and complete, make your way into a comfortable seated position with the eyes closed and the fingers planted down onto the knees. Take a few moments to check in, just like we do at the start of class. Check in with your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body. And notice where you created space. What did you release? Where did you release? And just like when we come into these poses, sometimes we have to release the same thing over and over again. And what is the experience in just that? That we will continuously have to release our glutes in a Sphinx pose. That we will continuously have to release these old patterns, these old thoughts, these old behaviors. We'll always seem to always creep in and creep up. And what's the experience of simply releasing? And maybe there was a time in your life where you didn't even realize you needed to release these things. Remembering to always meet life with humor, with love, with compassion. Gather those hands together in prayer position so that the thumb rests at the breastbone. Bow your face slightly towards your fingertips. Give yourselves compassion, gratitude for being here, for practicing this whenever you practice it now, whatever now moment you're in. And take a few moments here to take in any pain, any suffering, any fear, and put out peace. And you can even hold this visual of taking in a gray, murky smoke and putting out a beautiful pink light or whatever color you choose. Taking in the pain and the suffering for yourself, for others, for those you know, those you don't know, for the collective, and putting out peace and love and compassion. Being the embodiment of this beautiful alchemist that you are, transmuting lower vibrations to higher vibrations. Honoring that sacred superpower of yours. Take a nice long deep inhale. A little pressure to the palms. Exhale to release. I wish you all peace, presence, love, and light. The light in me sees and honors that big, beautiful, bright light in you. Namaste.